backstory.
So I'm gonna start making this, I mean, just like everybody feels like, which guitar do I buy? So anyway, that's why we're not spending too much money on it this time.
Yeah.
And any of those starter
How
kits,
much was the starter kit go for?
like 125,
Okay.
150. And I'm making your video now since we need to finish up.
Okay.
You have the student coming after you, but yeah, just figure it out. It's really not going to be that difficult. You'll end up with a perfectly good guitar to learn on for a couple of years or whatever. All right, cool. So the stuff we actually talked about today, first is like how to hold the guitar. As opposed to straight up and down, we have it lean back against ourselves a little bit. Not like this, not like that, but like this. And we got our right arm slung around the side of it like that, not out in front of it, steadying it, but around there. And we want to be holding it such that the guitar fretboard is up here, not like down there, which is a real normal thing for beginners to do at first. So you should be able to let go over here and nothing happens. So there you go. So just take however long it takes to do that. And then just try to, grab your pick, take however long it takes to grab your pick. Even if you hold it wrong at this point, no big deal. And just strum a little bit. Just be like, down, up, pick a single string, noodle around, do whatever. This is like just getting used to I'm holding a guitar again. How to hold the pick. Here we are. So we got it between our first two fingers with about, not this much sticking out, or like just the little nub, but in between. And you'll remember this from your lesson as long as you get to practice in the next little while. And then it's at right angles with the instrument, which is naturally where it ends up if you just hold it like that. So that's how we're holding the pick, and you want to hold it tight enough that you don't drop it, but not so tight that you put a bunch of tension in your hand. And everything's going to hurt at this point. Cool, so, we wrote out like how to read tablature, where it's just which string, which fret. The perpetually confusing thing about that is that it looks upside down. So terminology, 6th string, 1st string, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to write down the names of the open strings right now, and that's like the only note name memorization we're going to do this time, which is what everybody starts with. This is E, A, D, G, B, E. So those are the only note names we're going to learn this time. What you're going to be thinking about is like, I'm holding down this chord shape, I'm playing a rhythm. But while we're at it, this is what you need to be able to tune. And that's just the first note names, single note names on the instrument that we learn the names for are the open strings. And, playing the open string is just as much a real note as if you fret something with your left hand too. It's just the one that goes as opposed to. Cool, so yeah, open D, G, B, E, if you want to come up with like in every Apple does grade, anyway, there we go. So I just wrote down the names of the open strings. Yep, this one's called E, this one's called A, this one's called D.
Okay.
Cool, great. So this is, there's no complexity to this concept. That's the name of those strings. This is the E string, called the 6th string. This is the A string, called the 5th string. So just memorizing those 6 things. And when you're using...
So we each memorize these, each note?
Yeah, 6 things, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just think about, like, a geography test.
Yeah.
If you had, like, a new country called guitar, and there was 6 things you had to memorize.
So this is E?
Uh-huh.
And this is E?
Yeah, those are both E strings. They are. They're not the same exact octave, but they're both the same. Anyway, so let's just, even if we don't understand what the hell is going on, we're going to memorize those. Just like, this is the country guitar, this one's called E, this one's called A. And when you're using your tuner, that's going to be something that you interact with. If you had your tuner with you today, we deal with that. But anyway, cool. So like, that's just dry memorization that's going to lead to other stuff down the road making sense. What we're really doing today is working on fretting open chords and strumming the whole instrument. Open chords means chords where we're fretting notes, but there's also open strings, which are a lot lower degree of difficulty. And then bar chords, where we start holding down the whole instrument and doing stuff out in front of it. So that's what I mean by open chords, or first position chords. All these shapes that we learned are chords where we're hitting single notes as well as open strings. And that's what we're going to stay focused on for a minute. And we're going to focus on rhythm guitar for right now, as far as like single notes and everything. It's just, right now we're just kind of getting used to, I have a guitar in my hand. Cool, so that, the very first rhythm we wrote down is just down. Down, 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 down. And what I'm playing there's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I'm just not playing anything on the M's.
Right.
And we talked about that on the back of your page. The downbeat are the numbers, and the end it's turned the upbeat. So we're going, then that's always running. But when you played this during the lesson, you didn't have to think about that stuff. You were able to just hear dum, 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 dum. And the same for all three of the first rhythms. So the thing we need to point out now is that your range of motion, your subconscious is going to want to line up here. But we're starting more like here. It's got like a wind up to it. So that when you strum, you graze all the strings with the same amount of velocity. If I hit it here, it's going to be like that versus going through and hitting them all that way. And with this wider range of motion that's going to do it, we can actually do that. Cool. So our process for learning these rhythms, and we're at rhythm 1. I'm just going to make a note that this started about like 6 minutes in your video. Is going for I can do it once well, I can do it 2 times well, and then trying to play it over and over again. So this first rhythm is really, there's not much to it. You'll have an easy time with it, but we're going trying to give yourself enough conscious headspace to focus on both hands and what you're doing. And then we're going to go for it 2 total times. 1, 2, 3, 4, a second time. And then pause until that gets easy, and then do it over and over again. But that first rhythm is sort of just I am getting used to playing it all rhythm. Whereas rhythm 2, where we're playing on every beat, we're playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now we're actually playing something that might be in a song. So yeah, before we were just going down, down, or going down, up, down, up. Down's gonna have, it's gonna have the same range of motion. Up's gonna feel stranger at first. Up has less risk to it. It's more just your arm getting back into that position. Then you're gonna end up down as low as like here on your guitar. So resist the temptation to just do this right there. So this is just chopping wood. Down, up, down, up, or a rhythm could be more, or tempo could be more like. Once, you're doing that twice, you're doing that a bunch of times. Great, so it turns out that rhythm 3 you already know. It's just half rhythm 1, half rhythm 2. Rhythm 1 was just down, down, down. Rhythm 2 is down, up, down, up. So we're going in rhythm 3, down, 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 up. And this rhythm, the first time you tried playing it during the lesson, you nailed it. So it only count if you feel like you have to. We're talking about going down, 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 up, down, up. It's always going to feel a little weird. It might be tempting to do the third string up, the third strum up rather, but it's down, 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 up, like that. So there's our same process. You get good at doing it once, you get good at doing it twice, you get good at looping it. And then the fourth rhythm I got to, let's just get solid on all this stuff before you try the last one. Is in 3/4 time, which doesn't make it harder or more complicated or anything, but all these rhythms that we just learned were 4 beats long. Like we were going 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, whereas this is going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which is something we're totally used to hearing, in normal songs and everything. So not more difficult by any means, and we're still just playing exactly the same stuff we were doing. We're going 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and I just did that to mark like the upbeat still exists. So 1, 2, and 3, and down, down, up, down, up. So this is it's almost identical to if you left the first drum out in the last rhythm we were playing.
Okay.
In fact, it is identical. We were going 1, 2, 3, and 4, and now we're doing the doom, jiggy, jiggy, doom, jiggy, jiggy, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. What was happening for you personally during the lesson was you were going like down, down, and then not having like a pause there. Just recognize that the down up part of this is exactly the same thing that you were doing in rhythm 2 and in rhythm 4. So I think kind of like just don't overthink it. It just goes down, down, up, down, up. And like in a waltz or like some down, down, up, down, up. Anyway, we're doing this one just to throw like a little curveball in there, since all of these other ones, it's just strumming down, it's just back and forth, and then the third one, it's just half the first one, half the other one. So what we're dealing with at this point is just, wow, my hand hurts, this all seems difficult, it's a lot to think about, part of guitar. If you remember when you first started driving, it was like a million things to think about, and now you're driving perfectly on the freeway for 20 minutes when you realize you weren't paying attention at all. So guitar is very much going to go like that. It's just tough going the first few months, just hang in there. And we've got a specific process in mind for how you're going to work on stuff. That being the first time you're working on any little section we're doing, it's the memorization part. It's like a grocery list. You're just showing yourself, this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm learning the dance steps for this dance I'm going to do. And then we start incorporating rhythm and everything. That's not going to really matter that much this time because we're not actually trying to do any chord changes. Bonus footage. If you get really good at all this stuff, you can try to do a chord change from E minor to D or whatever. You could play the first rhythm like or something like that. But if you were doing that, I would want you to first just spend a really boring 5 to 15 minutes going back and forth between these with, either one strum or no strums until your brain's like, yeah, okay, I can do that. And that's going to be the hardest part of what you're doing.
Okay, so you do want to practice changing from one note to another, right?
Without strumming,
Without strumming.
Like I'm saying, just like a moment ago.
And strumming is this, right?
Yeah, yeah, strumming, fretting, or pushing it. So yeah,
when
we were working on rhythm, we were not worried about, we were just holding down one chord, and now when we're working on chord changing.
So in the chord change, do you want to go, there's 3 notes, do you want to go from one to another, all 3 combinations, one?
Yeah, you want to move them all at the same time is the easy way. But let's not overthink this. It'll be like you were playing E minor, and then your hand switches to D.
Okay. And then to G?
No, let's decide not so much G this time.
Okay.
And also, I really want you to just kind of get used to doing this. It's not really that important this time only if you incorporate rhythm with it. But the point is that when you go to do a new chord change, it's going to be a lot faster than you can do just like going, I hope I get it. So you'll spend like a boring few minutes just going, okay. Because your hand's not going to be like, oh yeah, that's easy. So just try to notice what your tendencies are. If it's like this finger ends up one string too high, just try to correct it the next time around, and if something else goes wrong. But this is all like bonus footage, switching between chord shapes. I want you to pretty much just do like one strum, so that the focus is over here, and then we're gonna put it all together. Like I'm saying, this is just I have a guitar that I'm strumming weak, so before we try to do anything difficult. And the stuff where we talked about shape changing on our left hand, not so important this time because it's going to be hard to go as fast as we need to in songs to go like that fast. So anyway, just like I'm playing this one, just getting used to switching between chords with one strum. Anyway, there you go. Finish as you go, break it into little sections.